Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. Well, it's technically a top 3 because we're ranking all of the Twilat Evolutions in Loomian Legacy. And there's going to be a winding range on this list because one of them is amazing and another one is not as good as the others. So, yeah, let's get right onto this list. So, onto number 3, Josh, because number 3 on this list is Umbra. And I don't think there's really any shocks here that Umbra is number 3, but I don't think it's as bad as other people make it out to be. I think it's just average. I think we're like below average. It has a very solid attack. Overshadow makes it very hard. It has priority, which makes it good. And Umbra just hits very hard on the melee side, which does give it a massive perk compared to other dark types, but again, the reasons why Umbra is not as high is because, one, it's just dark moves. That's all it has. All it has is dark moves. It doesn't have any coverage. And other dark types just replace it, like Vesperatu. And even Ragoon can take people's abilities away. There's just a couple of other dark type Loomians which are better than Umbra. And despite Umbra being very good, it's not the best thing in the world, despite with the priority. So yeah, that's Umbra. Umbra is number 3, and definitely the lowest ranked rat onto this list. And it makes sense for a standard, because, you know, it's very hard to use, and it recoils itself, kind of like its brother, Luxor. So, yeah, it makes sense why Umbra is this low. Although, it is a lot better than what people make it out to be. So yeah, that's all I can really say. Has a very solid ability. Its speed tier is awkward. So yeah. Number 2 onto the list, and it's actually going to be Luxor. And Luxor is number 2, and honestly, I consider Luxor to be good. Other people think Luxor is one of the worst, mainly because of its reputation, but it's been nullified with Fire Breath. It's a nuke. This thing hits very, very hard with Raging Howl and Fire Breath. And also another reason why it is higher than Luxor, 1, it's faster, and 2, there are not as many good range tanks in the game compared to melee. There's so many different melee tanks in the game. That just makes it really, really tough to use Umbra. As for Luxor, there are not as many range tanks in the game. I mean, the only possible range tanks I can really even think of is like Terraclaw, Beneland, Gastroke. Even Cenomars doesn't really want to tank a Luxor hit, and they all tend to get chunked pretty hard. And that's the thing, Luxor just chews through any Loomian in its path, it feels like. And despite Luxor being very frail and recoiling itself, when that wall is on the field, that wall is dead. And also, it can run a ton of other different moves that makes it really good. It can run Fire Breath to hit those plant types and metal types. It can also use a bunch of other moves, like it can use Scapegoat, it can use Luminous Roar to prevent dark type moves, and Luxor is just very clutch overall. Always just seems to clutch out matches when you really need it to do. And that's why Luxor is number 2, and that's why it's over Umbra. It makes sense, though, too, because it actually has fire coverage, unlike Umbra. But we all know who the best rat of the game is. We all know who the best is. And let's just get right into it right now. So number 1 on the list of rats is, of course, Eclipse. And Eclipse is probably one of the best Loomians in the game. It has Total Eclipse, which basically makes it immune to dark and light type moves. So it has more immunities than weaknesses. It has 3 immunities and 2 weaknesses, because it's also immune to Spirit because it's a light type. It has dark and light moves offensively. So it can hit pretty much almost anything into the game. I think the only thing it can't really hit hard is bug types, and that's it. And even then, a lot of bug types don't really want to come in when you combine it with icicle traps. It's a really good team Loomian because it just nullifies so many attacks because of Total Eclipse. And Cicadian's okay too. You could use the Cicadian version. It's pretty tech though. It's pretty high tech though. So I don't really recommend running it. But its secret ability makes Eclipse utterly broken. Eclipse is by far the best Loomian in terms of swapping in, because of those immunities. And you could say, hey, a tank could be better to swap in, but there are not many tanks that resist light, dark, and spirit, so having Eclipse on your team is so good defensively, while having an offensive force. So, That's what makes Eclipse so good, and if it gets that speed boost, it can pretty much sweep, so yeah, Eclipse. It makes sense why Eclipse is number 1. And, of course, probably the most broken Loomian in the entire game. So yep, Eclipse being number 1 is no utter surprise, especially compared to Luxor and Umbra. So, Eclipse, of course, is the best rat in all of Loomian Legacy. So, here it is, Eclipse, the best rat in all of Loomian Legacy. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 3. I know this one's a lot shorter compared to the other ones, but hey, I wanted to rank all the rats in Loomian Legacy because I think it would be a very, very interesting concept. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, go in the comments below and say, Eclipse is broken, give it a nerf. I'm joking, obviously. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye!